What is up? Welcome back. Hello. Hi. How are you? Welcome back to another The Big Rob Theory video. I'm your host today, and I want to discuss Loki episode 4, the Nexus event. So after last week's episode, man, I was eagerly waiting for this week's episode, and the wait was well worth it. There was so much that happened in this episode. I'm going to try to keep this review and recap kind of spoiler free, but it's gonna be really hard. This was such a great episode that I don't really want to give too many spoilers. I just want you to go watch it. You have Loki and Sylvie who have successfully gotten off Lamentis, but where they end up is not really that much better. And I am very curious to see next week's episode after everything that went down in this episode. We see what happens to people when they get pruned, you know, or at least we see what happens to one person when they get pruned. So if that one person got pruned and ended up where they were, that means that multiple people who get pruned have a similar path. So I'm very curious to see that, and I'm very curious to see who is truly behind the Time Variance Authority and the Timekeepers, because, as I said earlier, this episode was crazy. There was so much that happened in this episode. I didn't even realize it was 48 minutes because I was so invested in everything happening that time flew by so fast with this. I'm very curious to see who's pulling the strings here, because one thing I will tell you is I'll give like one spoiler, maybe just one. One thing I will tell you is we get introduced to the Timekeepers this early. If you have a little bit of common sense, or if you just, you know, have a broad horizons, you'll know if we get introduced to something like that this early, chances are they're not necessarily the big bad that is really pulling the strings. I can tell you right now, you're going to be introduced to some people that you think are the big bad. Turns out that it's not necessarily what you think. I'm very curious to see if this time-traveling big bad that some of us fans have waited for, if this is the setup for him. This big bad's name is Kang the Conqueror, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying, I don't know if that's what we got going on. I'm very curious to see if that's an avenue that we're going to. And just like multiple other Marvel shows that we've seen already, and Marvel movies, the post-credit scenes make their first appearance in this episode. So definitely stick around after the episode to see what the post-credit scene is, because fans will really love what they have done in this show. So I'm very curious again to see how next week goes with this certain character meeting up with various versions of another character and just getting involved in what is about to happen. I'm very curious to see it. I'm sorry, I'm really trying so hard not to give too many spoilers, but at the same time I want you guys to be invested. So, oh man, this is hard. Okay, maybe just one more thing, just one more. So in last week's episode, we found out that the Time Variance Authority is not all what it's cracked up to be, and everybody that is in that realm of the Time Variance Authority are variants when they thought that they were created by the Timekeepers or they were born into the Time Variance Authority. No, every single last one of them are variants. And we get to see a little bit more as to how no one else has really said anything about this yet, you know, because I'm sure that at least one or two people could know about this. But we see what happens when someone questions it in this episode. And man, this is just, this show is just written beautifully. I'm very, very, very impressed with where it's going. So guys, please, if you have not been watching this show, please watch this show. And if you haven't seen this episode, go watch this episode right now and then watch it like 2 more times, okay? Just trust me on it. That's all I'm gonna say about that episode. That's all I'm gonna say, because I feel myself getting ready to tell everything about the episode and I don't want to. So guys, thank you for watching this. If you stuck through it, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you bearing with me being all over the place and wacky. Please like this video and comment down below your thoughts. If you've seen the episode and you know what I'm talking about or what I'm referencing, we can discuss, man. We can discuss. So just let me know. Thank you guys. Until the next one.